What's up, everybody? We hope you're having a great day, and welcome back to another episode of the Bourbon Pour. I'm Jordan.
And I'm Brian.
And today, this is my episode because I'm super excited about this one. So this is the Old Overholt 10-year cask strength straight rye whiskey coming out of Jim Beam and clocking in at 121 proof. This is a bottle, Brian, that I tried to order multiple times, and I know Keith at Vic's tried to order it multiple times for me, and it's just kind of been a hard one to track down. I think it was released late last year.
Right. So when you sent me the message that you got this, and then later did a short that you were drinking it, I was worried that none of it was going to make it back home. So I'm glad that it made it back home in one piece. And,
as you can tell,
he was,
pretty much all of it came back home.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I'm really looking forward to tasting this. So.
And really, we have my wife Erica to thank for this bottle, because I was actually gonna pass on it because of the price point. It's up there, and she said, "No, I've heard about this one, so why don't you just get it? It's from me." So thank you, Erica, for buying this.
Yes,
what we didn't realize when we got in the car, I was still like giddy, and I looked at it, and it says barreled in winter and autumn of 2012. The autumn of 2012 is when we were married. So
awesome.
This was barreled when we were married, so that's pretty cool. Anyway, damn, I'm so excited because I love rye whiskey, and I do like the Old Overholt brand, and I'm a Jim Beam fan, so all of this kind of aligns. Brian, at one point, real quick, a brief history, the only rye whiskey after a little bit after Prohibition that was being produced in the United States was the Overholt brand.
Oh, interesting.
Rye had completely died. Rye used to be more popular than bourbon, and then after Prohibition, of course, it was all bourbon, and rye had died so much that this was the only brand of rye out there. So.
Right. And I think rye has its own path. Everybody is a little different. When you get into bourbon, a lot of times the rye is pretty harsh, and it's hard. You don't like it, and then it takes years to go back around to it. When you get back around to it, then you're kind of like, oh my, I love all these elements. And I'm in that phase right now.
Okay.
And when I first couple of ryes I tried, it was terrible. And now that I've circled back around, oh man, the last 8 months to a year, man, I've really been getting into rye.
So and there is a progression, with rye. You start out where you really don't like anything, and then there's the either I love it or I hate it, and then you find one that kind of sticks, and then it opens the doors to others. We'll have a rye episode at one point. I promise that, because I've got a lot of cool ryes that I like, but I'm super excited about this one, and I'm super excited to share it with you. And let's go in for a nose here. So there is ethanol,
it's hot
because that 121 proof is.
And the rye is pretty prevalent. I get a licorice, a little bit of a licorice kind of smell.
So licorice wasn't something that I got initially, but now that you say it, that does come through. I get a little touch of maple.
Definitely
maple syrupy kind. It's not overly deep, sweet maple syrup.
The licorice is not an overbearing licorice note. I don't think it's anything that's off-putting. Some people don't like licorice smells. It's actually a pleasant licorice smell. And
then one thing that I'm going to say here about I always try to find sweetness first on a nose, and then I try to find oak. And for the oak note for me, this is a good thing. It smells kind of like a soggy, mossy kind of log thing.
Mossy oak.
Right, mossy oak, which is also what I get out of Knob Creek.
Right,
it smells a lot like Knob Creek.
It's a musky, but not an off-putting
right,
smell.
It's in a very good way. And like I said,
I think that is the smell that transitions into the licorice for me.
I can see that for sure. I can definitely see that, and it's kind of similar to Knob Creek. Which is also made by Jim Beam, of course. Man, now I do get that licorice that you were talking about. But more important, we could spend a lot of time.
I'm ready to taste
this. Let's taste it. Let's taste it.
That is what a good rye does. So I've said this in the past on other things that blow your mind. They kind of just explode. and then go in so many different directions that you just don't even know what to say.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to talk about because I got a licorice right off the bat.
Yeah.
And then I just had a firework go off in my mouth, and it's going all the way down my throat. And it's just every good traditional element that you would want.
Every good rye spice note is right here.
Oh my! And it's just
it's powerful.
And it's staying there. And it's not tainting. It's not going in a bad way. It's staying just phenomenal.
There's kind of a breadiness on the mid palate that's kind of supports like a backbone to it. It tastes like a little bit of rye bread for sure. And then
the legs, it's got pretty good legs on it for 10, but it's 10 years, so it should have.
I'm glad,
pretty viscous.
I'm really glad that you mentioned that licorice note because that is not something I remember picking up initially. Of course, I only had it once, but that translates to the palate really well. I think that actually carries through quite a bit. Yeah. And normally I don't really like licorice, but I like it in this.
When you swish that around in your mouth at the beginning, it almost scares you because it gets really spicy and hot.
Right.
But then when you swallow it, it just coats and goes down so smooth. It doesn't blow you away. It's not over the top. There's still a little peppery feel on my lips, which like I said, could be the rye or it could be a spice. It could be something, but it lingers in such a good way. Nothing about this is off-putting. This would honestly, I don't know if we're going to do a bottle of the year episode. This would rank pretty high.
Yeah, I would very much agree with that.
Yeah, this is one of the better bottles I've had this year.
Yeah,
and man.
Yeah, and one thing that rye is typically oftentimes is known for is mintiness, and I don't get any mintiness out of this. I do like whenever a rye is minty. I do like that. That's absent, but that's okay because this is really good. I don't know what the mash bill is on this. I thought I had read where it was like 80-20 on rye and barley, but I might be making that up. I don't know, but this is it's probably the best rye.
Well, now, not to contradict what you just said, that where I get that licorice, sometimes that could be confused with mint, but maybe just a darker mint. So I get a little hint of a mint, but I think it's because you just said it.
And if it's there, it's way towards the back.
It's way towards the back, and the licorice
maybe on the finish.
Yeah, the licorice is at the front of the palate. It goes, but man, there's so much going on. So many directions that goes.
When SLB challenged us to the most interesting whiskeys in your collection, I didn't have.
I wish you had that.
Yeah, I wish I had that one because one of the things that Kurt said in that was a whiskey that you could spend an hour with, and this is one that you could. I think you could probably sit there and smell this and taste this for an hour and continually pick up different elements out of it, different characteristics that I think really appeal to a lot of people.
My lips are tingling right now, in a good way. It's just like the taste is lingering. It's there, and it's like, oh my god.
Finish is still going.
I'm here, and you're going to love me for the next 10-15 minutes.
Man, thank you, Jim Beam, for this. This is great. I was so excited to get this bottle. In fact, really quick story. Got it. I was excited. I was driving, trying to get back onto the interstate, and looking at this bottle and telling Erica, "Oh, it's barreled when we were married." And Erica's got our GPS. We ended up getting on the interstate northbound, needing to go southbound. So I had to drive a few miles up the interstate and take that exit. But when we got to that next exit, there was another liquor store that I stopped at. I didn't buy anything, but because I just spent. Did I say MSRP on this?
I don't think you did.
Okay, so MSRP on this is $100. I paid $110, $120 out the door. So after taxes and everything.
So what would you pay for this, knowing what you know now?
There was a second bottle on the shelf that I would have bought right then and there that I wish I would have.
Yeah, I think I would pay up to $150 and be happy with that.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah, so, it is quite incredible. We recently reviewed Little Book, which isn't a rye whiskey, is a blend, but there's a lot of rye in that, and there's high rye bourbon in it.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think in comparison to the Little Book? Oh, I know it's been a while since we.
Yeah,
they are different.
There's different elements, but right now I'm having a hard time even finding anything so far I've had this year that's as good as this.
Yeah.
We've had some good stuff, but this is just, it's solid.
Something else.
It's different, but it gives you. I'm going to say if I would dissect it, there has to be 15, 20 different elements that you can get out of this. Hard to explain when it's happening.
Right.
I think if you went in looking for something, you're going to find it. Because it's just like I said, it's an explosion that is just so good.
Yeah.
So
And
I'm thoroughly impressed.
Yeah. Like you said, we've had some good whiskey this year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've had a lot of good stuff, and this one, I would tend to agree. I was in the cabin in Tennessee, bought this on vacation, and I poured myself my one little pour that I allowed myself, and I passed the glass around, and no one liked it.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
And but they don't like high proof, and they don't like rye. So
right. And a neck pour, so it could have been a little
bit of a neck pour, but
some people don't think that's a thing, but
right,
I think it's a thing.
It is a thing. It is a thing. Look for a shirt that says the neck pour is a thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's a special bourbon or special rye for me.
Right.
I love rye. This was one I was looking for. Finally found it, and then thought, I'm going on vacation. It's probably not the time to drop that much money on one single bottle. And then my wife came through and said, "Get it because I know you want it." So,
and sometimes when Jordan finds a bottle, I'll let that know I can taste that later.
I don't need one.
This is one. If I find it, I will buy it.
Right. And this is one that'll be around for quite a while. And in case you didn't notice, I meant to mention this earlier. This is the Old Granddad 114 bottle. If you see,
oh yeah,
I think I got the one. Oh shoot. I don't have it out here. I thought I had it under the bar, but I don't. Anyway, that's the Old Granddad 114 bottle. Obviously coming out of Jim Beam. There's this cool little emblem right there in the middle of the bottle. So, all right, folks. Well, we've rambled on long enough, but that's what happens whenever you experience a really good whiskey. So, when you're with your family and your friends, always share your whiskey.